I can just talk through the intro, and then it's like a natural start, right, Sean?
Yeah. We actually haven't
I can
moved.
see
We've
that.
been talking
So
for.
in case you guys are wondering how this works, we see at the bottom like who's gonna play. We see some spicy ones coming
Oh,
up.
we see Rob Catton
Rob
on
Cadden,
chain.
Sam McDonald on Prism. Gonna chain Prism matchup. It's the classic light versus shadow matchup here. And man, Rob Cadden was an absolute demon on chain.
Oh man,
No pun
household
intended.
name.
Back in the chain CC days, so knows the hero very well. But Prism's a good hero, right? There was 2 chain in this pod. I think this is the top pod still, right? So this
So
was
3 Prism.
3 Prism, 2 chain. So Prism can pretty much play around with 3 Prism. I think that's not too shabby for Prism. 2 chain, 1 is better, but
2
you
chains.
can't really ask for 1 chain too often unless you're in pod 2, where that's exactly what happened. But we're bringing you pod 1 still, trying to bring you the X and zeros, the people that are absolutely storming through the field today. Who's going to get into the second draft 6-0? We're going to find out very shortly. So
Absolutely.
Chain versus Prism, some classic Flesh and Blood artwork here. Prism, Illusionist of White against Chain, Shadow Runeblade. Chain loving to banish cards off the top of the deck, play them, have massive hands. Prism trying to control the field with auras, big beefy heralds.
That can be popped.
They
So
can
so
be
very
popped.
interestingly, it will be interesting to see just how many of those poppers, those 6 or more power attacks that Rob has been able to draft in his pod.
So we see Rob here sitting down. Stubby Hammer is banned for being too good, very good at chain. Lots of 3 power, less cards that you can play it with.
Aether Iron Weave. Very nice.
If you pay a non-attack and attack action, you can pop it to gain 2 resources. Again, very useful for going wide. Also blocks for 1 with some battle 1, which is always good. And the Evanfold, it's a spell void 2, and also allows you to banish a card, draw a card. So that's obviously if it's a shadow card, draw a card. But Evanfold very good for setting up your banish zone with a card with blood debt. That's Chain's whole shtick. Cards with blood debt you can play from the banish zone, but they do deal 1 damage to you at the end of your turn.
And we said in the last game as well the significance of having multiple pieces of that Ironhide armor as well. So Osama here bringing in 3 pieces of Ironhide armor, head, body, and legs. And Rob here setting up, first of all, opening with a chain in order to create a soul shackle that will allow him to banish his deck at 1 card from his deck at the start of his turn. And just coming in with the Galaxy Black.
Yep. So it does allow you to give Galaxy Black go again, but Rob decides to not push anymore there. Just going to pitch that blue Mounting Demigod to the bottom of the deck. Going to try and hope that comes back in the late game to try and help him out. Rob's a very talented player, probably going to be trying to set up the bottom of his deck for a big final turn in the game. So keep an eye on what Rob pitches, because that's probably what he's going to try and get. This is the second round of the first draft. We will have another game after this before we move to draft number 2 after the next game. But we see just a classic Herald of Triumph. This is the one where your cards have -1 attack, and the relevance of that is that normally you can pop a Phantasm Herald with a 6 power card. Can't do that with Herald of Triumph. It's going to -1 that down to 5. You're going to need a 7 power card to pop this bad boy.
So tricky one to pop. And obviously, if it hits, goes into your soul. So exactly the same as Bolton, as we saw in the last game. Prism's trying to set up that soul, but this time, instead of being able to go wide on those attacks, she is able to use those cards in soul in order to create those spectral shields.
That's exactly right. And Rob respecting that, knowing I'm going to shut down this Herald, I'm going to block for 6, make sure that Prism doesn't get that Herald into Soul. And Rob actually hitting a Seeds off the top. You know, it's always good when you're in 1 Soul Shackle, you've not got a huge chance of hitting a Blood Deck card off the top. But obviously he's going to use that. Maybe going to be a bit, is that what I wanted to play? Well, he's going to make it work. One Arcane from the Seeds, 1 Arcane from the Arcanite Crackle, and then 3 attack with a Go Again from Chain, pushing 5 damage here with Go Again. Pushing some stuff through. Arcane damage really difficult to prevent in Monarch draft. There is no arcane barrier. There's just a small number of spell void pieces of equipment and item.
And Rob is just going to be looking to slowly build up those soul shackles as we go on through the game. Obviously, I mean, Trip, how many soul shackles will Rob be looking to build here before he probably starts just rolling?
He's probably going to try and aim to do something big with 5 shackles. You can basically, if you know the number of cards in your deck, obviously we don't know exactly how many cards Rob is running in his deck, But oh, draws a double block here. Very nice. Rob is probably thinking there, do I really want to see the seeds at this point? I guess it allows me to turn on my Galaxy Black. We're getting a double block there. I imagine he's pretty happy to see that. Just means that Prism might have to use this card. Oh, doesn't even play the card from Arsenal, just draws up to 4 and
Okay.
passes straight back to Rob, who hits another 2 cards off the top, though these ones are a little bit more awkward to play. So
So
Rob hitting gas here already.
yeah, we're seeing shadow card after shadow card here. Rob may have a nice little deck on his hands.
Nasama just essentially passed there. Had 1 card in hand and passed. Didn't play the card from Arsenal. Maybe it's an aura. I didn't quite catch what he Arsenaled, but and we see here Rob setting up some interesting cards. The Rifted Torment
Into
at
a
the
Rift
bottom of the
Torment.
deck. So gonna try and play that out later. This one is gonna come in for 2 and 1 arcane, but it's quite an expensive card at 2 cost.
Got the go again from Chain. He's obviously got that
Gonna use his equipment
ghostly visit
here,
as well.
leaving himself with 1 resource if he wants to use another piece of the Iron Hard plate or helm. Gonna come with the ghostly.
Ghostly for 3. So Rob's gonna have a few options here in terms of what to put into his arsenal at the end of this round. So maybe not being able to maximize the turn, having multiple cards left in his hand, but I mean, like we said,
I think
he's looking to set up
he's just
with plenty of
incentivized to
soul
play
shackles.
cards out of the Banished Zone because they will deal 1 damage to him at the end of each turn. But he is sneaking through a lot of damage here. I think I saw he had a Vexing Malice as well. That's 2 arcane on tap. It looks like Rob's running quite a high arcane, high number of arcane cards, and keeps the 6 power card to potentially pop a Herald, which is exactly what he's probably going to do right here, because this Herald of Judgment would stop him from playing cards from the Banished Zone. But it looks like he's got the perfect answer to this with the popper.
Let's see the popper, Rob.
Here we go, pound for pound, and that's just going to break that Herald of Triumph there, and that's going to be that.
Pop.
Salmon not really getting into this game at the moment, but probably happy to just keep playing through as much as they can. But Rob is going to have a lot of space to do stuff. Gosh, hit some really good cards. Does he have the blues to play this shadow? Shadow one. Seeping Shadows. This allows you to give a card go again and +1 if it's played from the Banished Zone, I believe. But it is a 3 cost, so he needs the blues to do it. Not sure what Rob's got in hand. Might have to leave that one in the Banished Zone, save it for later. Maybe he's got the blues for it. Does have the Rip Through Reality, so if he can deal arcane damage, that 2 cost coming in for 4 will gain go again if he deals arcane.
So Rob chaining here. Soul Shackle number 4.
Setting up the Rift Mine, but he has the Vexing Malice, as we mentioned last time. That's going to guarantee that this Rip Through Reality does get go again.
Okay. So coming in for 2 here. Blocked with a Surgeon Militia. Rob's going to pitch to bring in Rip Through the Reality.
He's got
go again.
This 4's got to go again. He still leaves himself with 1 resource at the end, so he might just finish with that Ghostly Visit at the end, just to get that card out of the Banished Zone, leave that Seeping Shadows in to allow him to go much wider on a further turn.
So Asama here pitching to block with his equipment. And then, as you said, coming in for 3.
I actually thought he might finish with a Ghostly Visit there, but I think he's just going to leave that in the Banished Zone. He's going to take the first 2 damage of the game, and that is going to be that. But that is going to force 4 damage, so actually it's a pretty nice one, because Asama doesn't want to give up another card there.
How do you think? Do you think Rob's happy with the way that this has gone so far?
I think he's pretty happy. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Asama's face, he doesn't seem very happy at all. But he has managed to keep a couple of cards here. He's able to play out this. Going to see Rob's whole hand.
He's going to have a look. Any poppers? Any poppers? Where are the poppers?
So he's going to think to himself, maybe I don't want to play that one anymore.
Don't want that one.
Okay. He might just have to play it though. Anyway.
Just to get it out of his hand.
Maybe just arsenal it. It's really awkward. Yeah, he's just going to play it anyway.
Herald of...
It's the
Yeah,
dominate
pop.
one, but it's not gonna do much because Rob's just gonna have all the 6 power cards at the
Pop,
right time.
pop.
And we mentioned this, didn't we, Sean? I think it was when we were looking at the breakdowns. What did we say? We said there's one Levier in this pod. That mean. What did I say? It can mean that Chain might have more good power cards to go
Yeah.
around with. Look, Rob's deck is absolutely fire. Look at it. Look, he's just hit banish after banish after banish this turn.
He's
got
banished how many cards this game? Maybe like 10, 11?
He's on
and he's
chain
only
link.
got one that he can't play.
On shackle 4, so he's banished 10 cards in total, right? 4, 3, 2, 1. Is that how you do math? Yeah,
That's
and
how
like
you
you
do
say,
it.
Sean, he's missed 1 hit so far. So very high blood debt density in his deck, and you can see it in his hand. He's got more in his hand. He's been pitching them too. So this is the turn he's going to try and pop off here. I'm going to pop the stubby hammers. It's basically gallantry, but for chain. And then he's going to pitch to give something go again, and then come in with his bounding demagon for 5.
Rob is just storming here.
And he's been set up near with being able to do quite a wide turn, and he's got the resources to do it with the Ether Iron Weave as well. I'm trust it gives the Inti go again instead, which I quite like, because of course he can give any of the blood deck cards go again if he wants to.
So Inti gets pumped as a result of having created the Soul Shackle.
And then he can follow up with the Bounding Demagon, which will also get pumped by the Stubby Hammers.
Lovely. So 2 card block from Osama.
It's going to break the chain here by probably making a Soul Shackle. We might be doing it to play a non-attack. Stubbies will stay live, as far as I'm aware.
Yep.
So for the rest of the turn.
Coming in with the seeds. Has go again. Gives the next attack.
1 arcane.
An arcane.
If it's 1 cost or
damage.
less, because I think it's the yellow one.
Okay. Then we go up to 5 shackles. In that sweet spot now, right?
Yep. Bounding Demagon. Might try and play this Unhallowed Rites out just so it doesn't get stuck in his banish zone, because you do have to play a non-attack to play it. Or he might just choose to finish up with a Galaxy Black. Can't quite see what the last card in hand is. I think it's a like two cost for 5, just basic blood deck card, but hard to see from this angle. But it's going really well for Rob here.
And no more resources floating.
But he does have the Ether Iron Weave. If he did want to pop that to play another card out, he could.
Yeah. Rob presenting a lot of damage now, and Osama, no more cards in hand. He just has to take the 4.
Yeah,
goes down
Void Wraith.
to 4.
This is exactly what you want to happen as Chain against Prism.
Yeah.
You just want to get into the game.
Just go.
I mean, remember Osama at the start of this game, he basically just passed his first turn. Like he did nothing. It just gave Rob so much room to maneuver, and with such a high density of blood debt in the deck, he's just able to push through. If he's got a non-attack, he'll be able to play the Unhallowed Rites. Oh, and he banishes another Seeds. Look
5.
at this.
Wow.
I mean, Rob needs to be careful here that he doesn't blood that out. He's taking. he
needs a way of giving these go again,
look
right?
At this was Soul Shackle 5, right? Did we say that Soul Shackle 5 would be the one? But look at how much gas he has in this deck. It's insane.
He pulled over. He's carried over 2 cards in his banish zone.
And
from the last round.
He's got the Captain's Call, so he's got a way of playing the cards that require a non-attack to be played. But he's also got the Seeds, but the Captain's Call also allows him to give something go again, so he can go really wide. Osama's on 4. So Rob needs to think about this, because he needs to be careful, because he will start taking... I'm not sure he's going to be able to play every single one of these cards. He wants to kill Osama on this turn.
Well, the Seeds is going to give him... So that's a good start, right? It's going to give him the arcane damage to be able to push him down to 3 at least. Summer's got no way of blocking the arcane damage. Then he's going to shackle to give it the next attack go again.
And that's going to come in for 4. Summer's going to be on 3 because the 1 arcane from Seeds. I think it's a red Seed, so it will trigger.
2 block from
so
Osama.
Summer should be on 2 now. He's already used 2 cards to block. They both block for... Shouldn't Impenetrable Belief block for 5 here, because it's he's banished a lot of cards. So I'm not sure. That might have been a bit of an overblock there from Osama. So maybe a slight misplay there, because I think that would have blocked for 5.
Seeing the writing on the wall at this stage, possibly.
So giving up 2 cards there when maybe only needed to give up 1.
Yeah.
Should be on 2, I believe. Yeah. +2 while defending if
Yeah.
3 cards are entered the banish zone. So that should have blocked for 4. So he did actually have it covered with just the 1 card, but unfortunately blocked with 2. Going to Captain's Call, give the
Call,
unheld
go
Reds go
again.
again. I think, to be honest, from a Samus point of view, it kind of looks like game over. Especially when you give up 2 cards when you only need to give up 1. But yeah, at this point, it's tough to do anything about it. It almost looks like he's kind of given up at this point. He's just going to swing the weapon, and that's going to be game.
That's it.
What a steamroller compared to
Wow.
the first game that was over in a flash.
Wow.
Rob just banished absolute gas that entire game. It looked like his entire deck was made of blood there.
Yeah, I don't think I'm trying to even think if I saw any generic cards in that deck at all.
I mean, he had a couple of captain's calls,
call.
and he managed to have 2 cards. He managed to pop 2 heralds in that game and have such a blood debt density that just meant that every like he banished Shackle 1, he hit 1. Shackle 2, he hit 2. Shackle 3, he hit 3. And that was just exactly what you want if you're playing as Chain, especially against Prism that can kind of lock you out. There's nothing you can do against that as Prism. It's just too good. It almost looked like a constructed Chain at some points during that game. So, man, what a blast
Rob,
that first game. They were just over it so quickly, but just absolutely steamrolled, yeah.
But Rob, out of everyone, we've seen Rob play Chain and perform a masterclass of Chain in that match. But Rob has been playing Chain since he first came out in Monarch, 2 years ago? And it's I mean, Rob, if we can expect that from anybody, we can certainly expect it from
Rob's
Rob.
in a really good position now. He's
5 wins, 5-0
going into the final game of the draft, and
Very nice.
Probably should be quite confident based on the quality of that Chain deck that we just
Absolutely.
saw. Depends what the outcome of the other games, of course, but Rob looking pretty set on ending at least day 1, pretty happy. Just has to go into that next draft and come out of that feeling confident. But yeah, really powerful play, really powerful display from Rob. And I've heard that Rob was a little bit worried about going on stream. Apparently he always loses on stream. Well, Rob, you've officially broken the curse because now you are a stream winner. So what more can you ask for?
And we'll see. We might even be able to get him on a little bit later on after we've given him such great luck.
We got plenty of time now. We got a nice little time in that. We got time to get another coffee, Sean. I reckon we can go out and get some stuff done. But man, I think both of those games were showed the kind of like what can be done in Monarch Draft. Like we saw a really grindy game in the Bolton Mirror, and then we saw Chain coming there and just show what Chain can do.
Yeah, such varied games.
I mean, people saying, "Oh, Chain's just going to deck out." Well, if you've got all gas, turns out you defeat the opponent before you deck out.
Absolutely.
So, thanks so much everyone for joining for that second game. We've got the third game coming for you pretty soon. Maybe
stick around.
Hopefully we'll have an interview for you.
Time to get a coffee. Join us with a coffee break.
Get yourself and we're getting closer to the afternoon in the UK. It might be pint time soon. It might be pint time. So thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you then.
Hi, welcome back to the UK Nationals at Leeds Royal Armoury. I'm Baz the Bard. This is Rob Catton, World's number 8, top 8 at Worlds. Well done. Yeah, Chain deck's doing all right, isn't it?
Yeah, I just can't keep away from it really. I just picked the Chain card. You know me. I played Chain in CC and then Blitz at Worlds. So
yeah. And through the skirmish season, you won twice in the skirmish season. And then when I came up to you, I was like, "What you drafted?" And you went, "What do you think?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, yeah, stick with what you know."
I'll try it on every time I can. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Your deck is like you missed one banish from your Soul Shackles. It was just like Asama was just like, oh, every time you banished, he was groaning and he went through. It was like, flipping heck, you are just, that deck just absolutely was on fire.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be some situations in games with that deck, with how many blood deck cards I've got, where I think it happened quite early where I flipped some poor cards, like a yellow and a blue with blood debt, and it's quite early. I don't really want to have to play a yellow and a blue, but I sort of have to because it's so how early in the game it is. So that's not amazing. So it is like a double-edged sword in a way. Obviously, there'll be some chains who flip out all these blood deck cards and can't clear it and stuff. But the key to it is they're leaving cards in blood deck when they've blocked out. So you're like, okay, now I'll save these for later and take my 2 and have a 8-card hand next time, whatever. Yeah.
Thing is, I played Chain like when we did Seal and Skirmish, and I just look at the blood deck, pile, and just go, oh my god, I can't stand it. Stuff staying there, just go. If I don't clear it, I'm taking damage. But I mean, you're so cool playing it. It's just you're so used to it. It's just unreal. I was just looking down at the cards, going, okay, just count out how much arcane damage you're doing. How much can that deck throw out?
So So I end up with 3 seeds and 2 unheld rights, so I can put back a couple of seeds if I want to. There's a Vexing Malice in there, a couple of Volcanic Crackles, I think 2 Rifted Torments, so it's about a little bit shy of 10, I think. But yeah, I've got so many non-attacks as well, so like I got like a Red Howl from Beyond, which can, you know, pump up these massive turns and stuff just to get over the defense. Because, like, just then that was a 39 card deck into Prism because, like, I'm sitting down. I've got 3 poppers. I know my deck's really good. I figure the only way I'm going to lose this game is if I get fatigued. So I'm going to sit down with 39 cards, including like 14 blues, so I can pay for all my blood debt stuff. And yeah, as long as the cards lined up, all good.
Yeah, you held on to that pound for pound for a while.
Yeah, he didn't notice that, and I noticed that he didn't notice I didn't Arsenal one turn, and I kept a card in hand. Because yeah, I figured like I could Arsenal it, but it's such a mopey card to have to clear from my Arsenal. It's so expensive; it costs 3. And
when you're up, it's not giving you dominance, is it? It's just like,
yeah, exactly.
It's not going to finish the game.
No, I don't need a card in Arsenal when I'm hitting all my banishes every turn anyway. So yeah. I've got enough cards. So yeah, best to keep it so you can't mount any sort of offense.
So what are you worried about with, you know, which matchup are you fearing from what people have drafted? I mean, obviously you don't know the makeup. But...
yeah, I passed a good Bolton deck to my left, but when you say good Bolton deck, it's like dry rain.
Harrison?
Yeah, so like
okay.
I don't know how good it is. I know like I passed some pretty good cards. I passed like a V in pack 3 that he got. He's got a Gallantry Gold, I know that. So I guess if I play against him, that could be bad, maybe, but I'm not even too worried about that because Bolton can also fatigue quite well because they've got so many 3 blocks and actually have a proper weapon. So I guess that, I think I just played against probably one of the better Prism decks because our pod is 1 Leviathan, 2 Chain, and 3 Prism, 2 Boltons, is it? So I don't think, I guess it depends how good this Bolton deck is, really. Yeah.
Okay, so you might see him next.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, in the finals against Bolton, I'm pretty happy with that, and my deck is I've got so many block 3s, so it should be fine.
Nice, brilliant. Okay. I'll get rest.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on. Stay tuned. I might grab somebody else for an interview if we've got time. So yeah, stay tuned.